Well, we've reached 1200, the last 200 years of the medieval period, the Gothic era. Lots happening. How about if we start with the Chansonier, Cange, which, and a Chansonier is a book of chansons, a book of songs. They can be sacred and secular, and they can be performed vocally or maybe by an instrument, who knows. Here's one you'll hear from panpipes. Sorry I didn't bring them along today. Would have been perfect in the relative countryside here of UC Davis. Now I'm going to do it in this key. Do, so, fa, me, re. Do, me, so, fa, me, re, do. Pretty clear D Dorian, A, outlining that perfect fifth. That's repeated. The first idea, call it A, or call it a puncta, point. And the second one, the second phrase is also repeated. And do, and the second phrase would be re, te, do, re, me, fa, me, re, do, me, so, fa, me, re, do. Notice how you outlined the minor triad there, yes, and that's repeated. And then finally, shall we say it's a coda? It's actually sort of a variant of the second idea, but third time through, and re, te, do, re, fa, me, re, do, re, me, re, do, te, re, do. It's a gang that couldn't shoot straight. Te, well, that's too low, isn't it? And re, well, that's too high, isn't it? Do, ah. Panpipes, as in pan, right? Here's a lay, L-A-I, from a metal-strung harp, and it's kind of in E minor. Instead of E Phrygian, there's a raised second degree. Ha-ha. And finally, do you want to play this instrument? I'm not sure if I do. It's called a bladder pipe. Make sure you've got that nice and clean. The one in this performance seems to be a double pipe because it starts with a melody and it's incrementally off in terms of its intonation, but really quite fascinating. Sounds like a composite. Starts in D Dorian, but it always cadences, sort of implying C major. And we'll find more and more of this in now this latter time of the Middle Ages. Is that even possible? Harmonic ambiguity. That'll be very much a proponent of the Renaissance. And the fact that we have that F sharp, that is an alteration, accidental. And that may be an example of what will be known as musica ficta, fictitious music. But at any rate, we've got, am I talking about this one? I think I'm talking about the last one. But right, the harmonic ambiguity here is that we start in D Dorian and end in C major. Make up your mind, right? But then there's a secondary pipe added. And so this bladder pipe, unlike the one pictured, may be a double pipe. And listen to those people going at it, they're having a good time. And this secondary melody is added a fourth below, parallel fourths. And it occurs to me, I think we failed to mention that the earliest harmony from the Scholae in Kyriatis, the cantus firmus, the given song, my goodness, I'm having a good time, was always an interval below, fourth below, fifth below. But beyond that, most of our harmony now has been above a given fixed note, a given cantus firmus. And that is probably the standard from now on, but not here. Dance, it is a universal musical concept, cross-cultural. Is it a coincidence that relatively soon after the First Crusades, you get the first written collections of dance music? Why would dance music be the first instrumental music to be notated? Well, you got a whole evening entertaining the crowds, and you gotta remember all the different tunes. You don't want to play the same melody throughout the entire evening. Heavens no. And why dance music? Well, even the animals know that assessing the physical fitness of a potential partner while vertical might give you some sort of assessment of how they're going to be horizontally. So here's an early English dance, and those English once again seem to be going their own interesting way. You recall with the Orkney Islands piece, which was, well, not exactly English, but British Isles, Orkney Islands north of Scotland, and we had F Lydian. Well, we are bona fide in F major. Witness that key signature. How about that? And this is mostly monophonic, but at the end you might notice there's a section with three voices, and some have interpreted that to mean this was played by an instrument that could play chords. How about a sitar, which is an early ancestor of the guitar? And is this just about the earliest bona fide F major piece that we can come across? Well, check it out in terms of a tonality. That would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And we had mi, re, do, ti, re, ti, so. So we've outlined down to mi, do. And we've also outlined, we're getting there. Check this out. Here is a part of an F major chord, root third, fifth, and notice we could go up with parallel harmony. Here's the chord built on 5. The dominant chord would be so, ti, re. Take that down an octave and summon a gun if that's not what's outlined at the end. If the tonic chord is often considered the most important chord in a piece of music, the dominant chord is considered of secondary importance, and we have it arpeggiated right there, coming down, wa, do, as re, ti, so. Absolutely. And this is a kind of a dance called Estampie. Almost all of the early medieval dances are Estampie. That term could just be something to do with sounding or instrumental music. I've always thought of it as a stamp or a stomp dance. There are stomp dances in America, so why not? So you got this clear evocation of F tonality with these first and second endings, the punctas, all of them being puncti, and a lot of times the first and second endings repeat themselves. So you get kind of a structure. You got an A here, and then sometimes they say this is a little X and a little Y. How radical is that? And then the B section, and is that different? Yeah, it sure is. That one starts with mi, so, right? So, there. But then notice that the endings, right, there and there are identical. So you've got this idea of A, X, Y, B, X, Y. And so these kind of become verses and this sort of little chorus-et things. And then check out the third idea. We've gone up even higher still. And we're on the upper do, do, so, mi, do. Outline the major triad. How clear is that? And this is really looking towards the future. The Renaissance is just going to default to full-fledged triads. This is not, this is implied because of the arpeggiation, the arp-like playing. I haven't tried the keyboard, the foot pedal here. Yeah, it kind of works a little bit as the sustain, and if you were playing this in a resident house, you'd get that. You also have something interesting happening here, which is a series of patterns that are similar, but are on different pitch levels. And so you can hear, we start on so, do, so, and then we just take the whole thing down, right? A pattern from here. Right, and we just move it down to there. Well, it's a little different, isn't it? But that's part of this. That's just moving down the scale. This is so down to fa, and this is down to ti. We do have the tritone outlined there. Oh dear me! But where are we? Can't. There we go. So we have so, do, so. Then move it down. Fa, ti, fa. Then move it down again. Mi. La, and that's a note that doesn't work. La, mi, re. And that is the notion of a sequence. Take some sort of an idea and keep moving it down. And then basically the same thing happens again, but you don't quite go as high. Start on that second one and do the same sequential pattern down. Blank note there. And son of a gun if we didn't. Cadence on the tonic again, and it happens in a variant. It's a pattern down, but it just doesn't jump down there. And how clear is this to outline a tonality? La, ti, do, 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 do. Absolutely. All right, there's a lot of other stuff. Our recording is going to be a little catarwonky in terms of what's happening. Notice towards the end here we got a lot of do's in the lower octave. And we have this pattern repeating as before. And at the very end, 3-part harmony. Can we do it? Wow, that is totally great. Those are known as appoggiaturas, dissonant notes. Dissonant meaning it just feels like it needs to keep moving on. Sometimes dissonant is like gnarly, ugly, cool. But resolving there, and here you have this. Now this is together. Oh, sorry, that's the that is the Lydian move. We want this in F major. Wow. And then check it out. We're going to have the upper part on mi, but the do up top, that inverted harmony that we talked about serendipitously the other day. There's a little better in focus. And almost a full triad at the end. Do, mi, do. And the whole thing, by the way, is in 4/8 or 2/4 time. It's not the Holy Trinity Batman anymore. Whoa, how modern is that?